Jay and Irving, I didn't go to Lisbon. Lisbon School, I'm gonna tell you a story about Lisbon.
Okay.
There were two Lisbon schools. It was Lisbon Colored School in 5 Mile,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was Lisbon School on Lancaster Road,
Okay.
and that was the white Lisbon.
Oh, okay.
And I'm building up real quick to how we got Jay and Irving.
Okay.
My father in 58, and it is in the Dallas Morning News. My father led a group of men to the superintendent, to Dallas ISD because of the Lisbon Color School was in such bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
And the White Citizens Council was very upset about them, going down. Remember, this was 1950.
Yes.
And so how dare they, come and so it was very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But they did, and so I think the superintendent was W.T. White. And when my father and the men told them that there were the children had to walk through the mud and didn't have a phone if something happened, and on, and the books were atrocious, on and on. They said, Mr. White said, well, when it rains, my children get their feet wet too, or something like that. Real facetious.
Mm.
And then they graded that, so therefore they said, well, go back and try to find some land in 5 Mile to build a school. Well, they had built the first black neighborhood in that area called Highland Hills, and there was one there, and that's how they built Jay and Irving. And Jay and Irving went from 1st to 12th grade.
Wow.
And so that's and all of our teachers, everybody, all of us children had the same first, second grade teacher, Miss Buchanan. The third, next grade teacher, Miss Ogletree. I know Miss Woods, 7th grade, Miss Ogletree, and on like that. And so, but when they desegregated, so we left Irving when we moved where my mom on Pentagon, and then we started going to Oliver Wendell Home.
Okay.
Now there was one was on Ledbetter, but that was a white school.
Oh, okay.
So we had to walk. The buses, we were too close that the buses couldn't pick us up.
Right.
So we had to walk from our house, Ledbetter area, up the Keys, past Zumwalt, because that was a white school. And so we went to Oliver Wendell Homes, and then after Oliver Wendell Homes, South Oak Cliff, and then my brother, some of them went to, because South Oak Cliff was still white until I was in the 10th grade.
Okay.
So my brother, they went to Rosedale.
Okay.
And then when I was in the 10th grade, when they integrated, we were allowed to go to Zumwalt.
Okay.
And then after Zumwalt, I went to South Oak Cliff, but I wound up at Madison, then at Neighborhood Youth Corps.
Oh, okay.
So those were the schools, and then after that, I went to El Centro.
Okay.
I think I went to El Centro the first year that they opened, in 1970.
Okay.
And then I went to SMU, then I went to Hamilton.
Okay. And so you have your degree master, or is it?
Yeah, I have my MBA. My undergraduate is in English from Southern Methodist University.
Okay.
But my graduate, my MBA is from Hamilton University, and that's in strategic leadership.
Okay, all right. Now, I had to put that in there. It might have been a little, had to get that in there. And then now I'm going a little bit different. Like in the church, there's a certain group in the Church of God in Christ. Now, I know you belong to different organizations, but the group, I attended a meeting with you one time. What is the name of the masters that have master's degrees? What's the name? Scholastic?
Oh, Coaches Scholars.
Yeah, and to be a part of that.
I'm on the executive committee for Coaches Scholars.
Right. And to be a...
I joined that group in 2000.
Okay, and to be a Kojic scholar, what are the requirements?
Oh, no. Actually, anybody's welcome.
Okay.
But a lot lot of the people are students. A lot of them have masters,
Right.
and a lot of them have doctorate degrees.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed being a part of the meeting when we were. I don't know.
Dr. Raynard Smith is the founder.
Yes,
Of Coaching
yes,
co-founder of Coaching Scholars, and he's still the coordinator.
yes. And then speaking of that, I know we're going to get into the church, but we're going on, and like you have so many different gifts, and the parts that you are the. Tell about your positions in the church.
Okay, I'm the church administrator under the leadership of my younger brother.
Okay.
And historic Elder Robert L. Williams at the historic Open Door Church of God in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And I serve as district missionary of the North Dallas district under the leadership of Superintendent Victor Dupree.
Okay.
North Dallas district. We are the North Dallas district. And I say that because North Dallas is the oldest district in Texas Northeast.
Oh, right.
And then Texas Northeast jurisdiction, I serve as administrative secretary to Bishop James E. Hornsby.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'm on the executive board of the Department of Women.
Mm-hmm.
And Supervisor Desmond Rogers has a new initiative called Hannah's Project, and so I'm the chairperson of that.
Oh, right.
And on the national, I'm the founder of the Church of God in Christ Women's History class.
Yes.
For the convocation.
Yes.
And I'm the founder, and I started that in the 1990s.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm the founder of the Scholastic Motivations Ministries, which is a part of AIM, the creative writing. I started that. Lord blessed me to start that in 1997.
All right.
And I've been working in history since the 1980s, but in 2017, Mother Barbara McCool-Lewis appointed me the historian for the International Department of Women.
All right. All right. Oh, okay, you're going to stop there? I know you don't talk a lot about yourself, but that's why I'm doing this.
Yeah, I'm going to stop there.
Okay, you stop there. Okay, now, tell about yourself. You're an author, playwright, which almost means the same thing. So many different things you've done. You have books. You're an editor for different people. You're a ghostwriter, right? You do writing for other people.
Yes,
so tell us something about that, and tell us about your books too, and your.
All right. Okay, but first of all, can I just say that one of the things God has called me to, in addition to the history,
Okay.
One of the things He's called me to that give me so much joy is that He has anointed me as a prayer warrior.
Oh, yes.
And I really enjoy matter of fact, in this vigil, He's given me vigils down through the years. Once I went to my church every day, Monday through Friday, for 26 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Another time, I went to my church every day for 38 weeks. And right now, He's given me to go to my church every day, and this is the 18th week. I go from Sunday through Friday.
Okay.
I'm off on. And so I'm humbled that the God of our glory would use me to just intercede for people all over the country
and
all over the world. But another one of the other gifts He's blessed me with, He's placed is the writing.
Mm-hmm.
When I went back to school, I stopped school after I left. I was at El Centro for 2 years, but I felt led to just invest my time in the raising of our son.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stopped going to school. And the Lord gave me wind after my son was in the 10th grade, 10th or 11th grade. It was on me to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord gave me to go back for writing, for an English major,
Yes.
and with a writing concentration, creative writing concentration.
Mm-hmm.
And people told me that I was not going to make money with it.
Mm.
I was not going to be. Why would I want an English degree? But I know what the Lord has said.
Yes.
And I went ahead. I thank God for my husband, and my mother, who were my major cheerleaders,
Mm-hmm.
saying, go for it. If
Yes.
if that's what you want, go for it.
Yes.
And so I went, and I was blessed. That's a whole nother story. I was blessed to matriculate through Southern Methodist University and got my degree in writing. I have been blessed to write the Church of God in Christ Sunday school books for some years under the leadership of Mrs. Winbush, Nate Winbush, who was, and I did that for some years. I wrote junior high and senior high Sunday school literature. I've been blessed to serve for many years as the associate editor of the Church of God in Christ Holy magazine. And so those naysayers didn't know what they were talking about. God always knows what He's doing.
Oh, yes.
I've been writing ever since I was a little girl, but even though we have gifts, and that's for the young people who may listen, even though you have gifts and God has given you that gift, you need to be skilled. You need to be trained. Even if it's not a degree, if you can take classes and whatever. If you are a plumber, and that's make a lot of money, but be the best plumber
right.
That you can be, and get some continued training. But I'm getting off. So the Lord started my writing for the Church of God in Christ book that I write in the history. When I was at SMU, I was a scholarship student because if you know SMU, it's an elitist school, and most of the captains of industry, their children go to SMU. And so people have a lot of money at SMU. I didn't have a lot of money, but so I was a scholarship student, and they had a program for returning students. And one of the professors, they had just, when I was at SMU, they had just really started the African American Studies program. And because I was on scholarship and and the college math was kicking me, I was struggling. And I said, I'll do an independent research study on Church of God in Christ. And I went to the African American Studies professors to get his approval. You have to do the little process.
Yes.
To do an independent research study. And he said, oh, your church doesn't have a history. All y'all do is jump up and down like jungle bunnies and speak gibberish. And I said, and it hurt me. It hurt me when he said that. And so I said, no, we do have a history because missionaries have come. Our church has always been a mission church. It was a small church, but it was a mission church. Because my dad said, we may be small in number, but you're part of a great big church. And so they would, do things for missionaries who would come through. So I knew we had, and they would look at what we were here because of Bishop Mason praying for my mother, and God opened her womb. So I knew we had a great church, and we had heard stories. So I told him all that, and he said, you don't have a documented history. This was before Bishop Ithiel Clemens' classic work on the roots of the Church of God in Christ. This was before then. And so then I'm going to find something. I'm going to write it. I couldn't find anything, Shirley. I found at the Bridwell Library, which is the main library at SMU, I found maybe a paragraph.
Wow. And
then I'm at the Fondren Library, maybe a paragraph or two. And then I went to Bridwell, which is the, quote, religious library at SMU. Didn't find anything but a paragraph or two. I said, and this is what I said, these religious people don't know anything about the black church. I said, even though they had a lot of Methodists there, of course. So I said, I'll go to the Dallas Public Library. I went there, one page on Bishop Mason, and that spurred me into gathering the information in the history. I started writing books. My first book was called I Commend Unto You, Phoebe, and I self-published that, in 1986, and talked about the women of the church, of all the churches. And I read Righteous Discontent, and I read, Tori Neal Hurston, and other great women historians and writers. And then I wrote the next book as I kept gathering material. I went all over the United States gathering the material. I wrote, what was my name? Oh, Bishop Mason and Those Sanctified Women. And then my husband in 2004, my husband and I did a video, a documentary. It was 80 minutes on the women of the Church of God in Christ.
All right.
And that was a companion to Those Sanctified Women. And then I wrote a book on Mary Beth Kennedy. This not in order. And Father Kennedy, Missionaries to the World. They went out from, they were the first mission couple in the Church of God in Christ, and they stayed in Liberia for years and years. I wrote a book about my mother's life.
Yes.
Called I Want My Life to Reach Out and Touch Somebody. Elder Chris Davis and I wrote Bishop J. Nolane's biography.
Yes.
I wrote a biography on Bishop, the last bishop that Bishop Mason appointed was Bishop A.T. Moore. I co-wrote his biography with Mother Romanica Stallworth.
All right.
Let me tell you a quick little story on that.
Okay.
When I was doing the research, I'd have to go in and out of Kentucky where he was. And so he said, one day, he said, maybe I want to show you where I was born. I didn't know what I was getting into. And he took me down to his home, little town, took me through the woods, and I was saying, Lord, please don't let those snakes bite me. I said, people don't know what you go through when you really have a passion.
Right.
And then I wrote Royalty Unveiled.
Oh, yes.
To me, that's my baby.
Oh, yes.
Because Royalty Unveiled is talking about the international missionaries of the Church of God in Christ from 1920 to 1970.
It's great.
And that's my baby. It took me 5 years to research and write that book. And a quick little story about that, but I love this story. I went to Lexington, Mississippi, and the lady there said, there's some boxes out there. If you go out there and get them, you can have them because they're good number right. I went out there to that shed. It was 100 degrees. And I was so afraid because, I mean, and, I'm from 5 miles, so I know about snakes and sheds.
Yeah.
And but I went out there and I said, people don't know what you go through. My husband and I have been in garages getting books, getting things so I could write and research, and it'd be like 110 in the garage. So Royalty Unveiled, I went through with Royalty Unveiled, but God, but there's an old saying said, where God guides, He provides.
Yes.
And He provided me the resources to go all over the United States, from Washington State to California to Philadelphia to Mississippi, Arkansas, all over the United States to gather the information. And my latest book is, I'm working on one now about Page Normal, which started, the idea came to Bishop E.M. Page and the Pioneers in 1919.
Okay.
And they opened up a Church God in Christ school in 1927.
Okay.
And that's just amazing to me. And I'm trying to finish that by the end of the year. I've been working on it 3 years. I'm trying to finish by 2020, but if I don't, I'm still, it's amazing what God did, and that's my purpose in writing all these books, to show people what God did. With they might not have had a lot of money, but they had faith in God.
Yes.
And so I'm working on that now. But the last book is I edited. I got a group of female thought leaders from the Church of God in Christ, and each one of them took an essay topic, and wrote on Dr. Rena Mallory
Okay.
and that great case of Lexington School that
Wow.
started in the early 1900s.
Wow. Wow. That's wonderful. Now, did you mention the Pearl? You wrote Pearl Page Brown's.
I wrote, she's part of Royalty Unveiled.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also, and I use this information from these books and this information, and I go to colleges and universities
Uh huh.
and to share the information.